Alright, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about like PC gaming a little bit. I know I make these videos pretty often, but go ahead and bear with me. This is kind of like an experience video type, or yeah, like an experience video, man. Because I there's a lot of things in the PC market that I just don't think really get talked about too much, and that's kind of what I need to be. How do I say this? I need to separate myself from other content creators and make something that's actually meaningful and valuable in the PC space, in the console space, in what I'm doing just in general as a content creator. But okay, so let's look at this for a minute, man. We've got like so many different levels of GPUs nowadays. We got our 1080p GPUs, we got our 1440p GPUs, we got our 4K GPUs, we got our ray tracing GPUs, we've got upscaling techniques now. We've got frame generation. Like we don't even need, like, we can just use fake frames, man. Like we don't even need cards that can render frame rates anymore, because now we just have fake ones. And I'm not against these technologies. At first I was like, ooh, boy, I don't know about that frame generation, but then I've tried it, I've used it, I've played around with it. I've utilized it in games that I actually play. I've sat and played full sessions using this technique, using FSR3 now. Just using these features that are now available, pretty much widely available across multiple games, across multiple generations of GPUs now. These technologies are here to stay. They're not going away. And as rendering budgets and games start to get more and more complex over the years, I think that we're going to be using these, and I think they're going to be more and more of a necessity with every single generation of GPU that comes out. You can't freaking, you know as long as you look at it as like a source for AA or whatever, I think that they're fine. To tell you the truth, I think that they're actually fine. They do what they're supposed to do with that. But all of that is pretty much not the full, like what this video is planning, or what this video is about. This video is about what GPU do you actually need, or what level of GPU do you actually need to enjoy PC gaming. I think that coming from consoles, for me at least, has been able to give me a different perspective, that most people, I think, kind of move away from once you get into like the whole PC thing, and you accept everything as it is, and you start moving along, and you're just going, you're going with the punches, or just evolving with everybody else and everything else. And I feel like a lot of us as gamers start to lose our gaming identity as we continue down the rabbit hole of PC gaming. Now, we all love we all love watching technology move forward. We all love watching, like seeing new things and experiencing new things on games and stuff. But I do kind of think that there's a point when all of the new technologies coming out are not as exciting as they used to be. Like, don't get me wrong, like ray tracing is pretty exciting. It is an exciting feature, but what it does to the performance of your games on, and this is why I'm coming up with this whole video right now. Like, I'm explaining what happens to the performance of your games when you try to utilize this feature on other cards. It absolutely tanks your performance. Like it in most cases, it's dropping you down into single digits, or you know what I mean, or chopping exactly half of your frame rate out just to utilize a feature for better image quality. And now I know, like, I get it. Most of us are pretty resilient. Most of us are pretty adaptable when it comes to PC gaming. You know, we'll play around with our settings, we'll get it to our liking, and we'll be able to play that and still be able to enjoy that experience on the hardware that we have, as long as our hardware is capable of at least running ray tracing. If there's a will, there's a way when it comes to video games. We got people, I mean, we played video games on regular Game Boys when they first came out. Black and white Game Boys, man. We played video games like that. So yes, if there's a will, there's a way to play video games. But what I'm thinking, and the way I have been thinking about this since I bought the 7600 XT, I got the 7800 XT, and I also have a 7900 XT. Over the last, month or whatever, I've been playing some of these games on that 7600 XT, and like really kind of looking at the experience and stuff, and I find myself 100% able to enjoy that experience. So if I can find a way for myself to enjoy an entry-level 1080p card, then I don't necessarily think that some of these other GPUs are absolutely necessary. And what's more than that is I don't even know if it's necessary that we get GPU updates every freaking 2 years, man. I think there needs to be more time in between that. I think it needs to double. I think it needs to go to 4 years. I know that, I mean, we all know these companies aren't going to do that. They're not interested in, making a piece of hardware and selling it long term. They're more interested in just, consistently churning out more GPUs. And I think that's why we are, as a gaming community and as a PC gamers, I think that we're starting to that's making us more and more cynical every single time a new GPU comes out. It gets to a point where there's just too much. The saturation is just too much. There's too much. There's way too much out there to really. There's too many choices, and it's seriously paralyzing the overall, just PC gaming market, console gaming market. It's paralyzing, like most people, like I've heard and I've read, a lot of feedback, from a lot of gamers and stuff, that they're just like, oh man, I'm not interested in upgrading and this and that. And the way that they churn these freaking graphics cards out and they upgrade them every 2 years and they give them, more power this, more power that, they're churning them out so fast that game developers are still stuck trying to make their games run on 10 series GPUs. And 10 series GPUs are almost a decade old at this point. So if you think about that and you think about this going forward and what it means for like gaming and, longevity, and if these games are going to start getting better or anything like that, is you have a significant amount of gamers that are still running 10 series cards, that are running older hardware, that are still trying to play these games. And when you've got developers that are trying to make games for the most for the most systems out there, if there's a significant base that are still rocking that older stuff, our games are never going to take advantage of the new feature sets that these new GPUs actually have out right now. You can delude yourself and think that, I'm going to buy a 4090 so I can get 4K 120 on this and that and that. And the thing about it is you could easily just go out and buy yourself a 1080p monitor, a 1440p monitor. I recommend 1440p because that kind of gives you like the best of both worlds. You still get to run lower resolution, you still get higher frame rate, and you still get like your max visual quality and stuff. And to be completely honest with you, I mean, the only card you really need is like a mid-range card. A mid-range card. I mean, if you really are just like, yeah, dude, I'm just in it for the games and not like the over-the-top visual settings. I mean, like your 4060 or your 7600 XT, them cards are going to run your games just fine. Just fine. You're going to be able to do your 1080p. You're going to be able to do your 1440p on some games. And you're going to still be able to 100% enjoy that experience. And now with features like frame generation, DLSS, FSR3, XESS, all of these other technologies and all of these other tools that are out there, you're still going to be able to enjoy these games even better than you've ever been able to enjoy them before. And it's weird. And I look at the experience that I have on PC when I put the 7600 XT in, or I'm rocking the 7800 XT. Most of the time I run the 7800 XT. That's what I run. And, I feel like that card is the best bang for the buck when it comes to display gaming. You got 1080p support that's really, really good. You got 1440p support that's pretty dang good. And then you've also got the ability to play at 4K and still be able to get a good experience and to be able to play that, to get good quality visuals. And, being able to utilize like FSR3 or XESS, just on this card. And like boost your image quality even more, or boost your frame rate, stuff like that. I just don't see a really big need to be able to go over that. I mean, the big thing is probably the VRAM. That VRAM is very important when it comes to PC gaming these days. And I think, honestly, as long as your GPU has the same amount of VRAM as your PS5 or your Series X, I think you're going to be okay. I really do. I've tested so many games since getting that 7900 XT and the 7800 XT and the 7600 XT. I've tested so many freaking games that it's just like, wow, man, these all run pretty close to the same FPS, the same visual quality settings, and it's to the point where it's like, my gosh, man, do we really need new GPUs every 2 years? Like, the ones we got right now are awesome. The ones that we got last generation on the AMD side, absolutely incredible, man. They're still kicking along. They're still doing good. Yeah, dude, NVIDIA kind of shorted us with VRAM last generation. They're still kind of shorting us out a little bit this generation too. But I just don't know if the cost of buying those 16 gigabyte GPUs on the NVIDIA side is really worth it. I mean, I don't think it's worth it. When you can get equal or better performance out of the AMD cards for less money and more VRAM, I just don't think they're worth that. That to me is just idiotic that anybody would want to pay that extra type of money for that. So at the end of the day, guys, I would like to challenge people to buy like lower end cards. Get a 7800 XT maybe. Get a even go as low as like a 4060 or a 7600 XT, and see what that type of an experience can do for you, and see if you can reawaken that inner gamer and play games for games and not like stats anymore, because it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, man. Like I put in that 7600 XT and I'm like, wow, dude, like this plays pretty good. And I'm sitting there and I'm playing it. And to tell you the truth, sometimes I even forget that I even have that card in there until I try to go over to like 4K or something. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's not gonna give me a really good frame rate at 4K. So it's kind of interesting, like playing at 1440p though. And that's probably why I have the perspective I do right now. And that's why it's so hard for me to be like, yeah, dude, I'm just going to do what all the other YouTubers are doing and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're in an interesting time that I think that maybe we should all take a step back, get us a cheaper GPU and be able to play these games and just see how that experience is, man. And then, if you still need that higher if you still need to pay or if you still need an excuse to pay all that money for these other high-end GPUs, I just don't know if it's gonna. I guess is what I'm saying is I don't know if spending all that extra money is really going to deliver an experience that's worth it. That's worth it. I think $500 for a GPU. I don't know, man. I feel like that's a pretty decent price. I feel like $500 is probably a good a good entry point for a GPU. But I mean, anything over that, really, I just don't see a significant gain to the point where it's like easy to justify buying something more expensive. But I do get the longevity thing too. I do. Like on my 7900 XT, that card's going to last a long time, I believe. I think it'll last a pretty dang long time. So I'm actually pretty happy I bought that. So, all right, my friends, if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, man. I'll see you guys in the next one. You know, it's been 4 months since I bought the 7800 XT. So, yeah, I'm loving this card. I usually play with this card the most. So, all right, guys, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.